let's talk about these guys, Xikers. Xikers is spelled Xikers. I'm always paranoid I'm saying their name wrong, but I've been told that's how you pronounce it. This is a 10-member boy group. They debuted on KQ Entertainment last year in 2023. This is their second comeback, so their third project. KQ Entertainment, in case you don't know, that's ATEEZ's label. So these are the little brothers of ATEEZ. One member, Junghoon, is not part of this project because he's been out due to a knee injury. I think he tore his ACL, MCL. It was a major cartilage tear that's going to take a while to recuperate. And he still wasn't quite ready. So unfortunately, he's not part of this. So we got 9 members on this comeback. It's an EP called House of Tricky, Trial and Error. They gave us 6 songs, and the single is called We Don't Stop. Okay, I liked that old school drum machine loop at the beginning. That was an interesting sound to start things off with. This is very kind of pop punk. And I think that's their identity. We've had 3 releases now, 3 albums to kind of absorb and get a feel for who they are. And as of now, I would say that's definitely their identity. So I think for a lot of listeners that are really into emo, punk, and also I want to say like rap rock, very specifically, I'm old. I grew up in the time of like Korn and Limp Bizkit, that kind of rap rock sound. Xikers gives me a little bit of that feel. So that first verse reminded me of Sum 41. Like that really felt kind of Sum 41-ish. And then the chorus, you're in 90s, 2000s rock rap. I'm not mad at it. But I've got to say, my favorite is that breakdown, the woo-wee part. That's my favorite part of the song. I actually love that part. I also really like the singing on the pre-chorus. We get to hear their vocals there. And I think they have good singers. And that's one kind of note I have really in general for this whole album. I want to hear their vocals a little bit more. I think that they've become very rap rock heavy. And I find myself perking up when the voices come out. So that's kind of just my overall feel for this release. But back to We Don't Stop. The ending goes really hard. Instead of just continuing in like the formulaic song, after the bridge, you do kind of a bombastic chorus to end things out. At the end of this one, there's a switch up that I think is really interesting and really works. I loved that. That was very, very cool. I think Xikers executes this style really well. You know, that said, it's not my favorite style. I tend to go towards more R&B stuff. But I think if you're into that style of music, if you're into this type of music, I think Xikers does what they do very well. And I think this is a good song. I can see where fans would probably really like this one. So yeah, I think this is a good song. Let's talk about the music video. I liked this music video a lot. I thought this was very, very well done. Starts off with that like fisheye lens. They're knocking on the door. Speaking of Backstreet Boys, like everybody, they look very cool. A lot of hip hop inspired fashion mixed with bright colors that really conveys energy and youth. But there's a lot of swag here. You know, they're the cool guys. I get it. I'm buying it. I'm here for this. I loved the visual effect where there were different kind of like computer windows, like that graphic popping up, and it focused on zoomed in aspects of different members, like their feet, their mouth, their eyes. It was just like a really cool visual and a way to break things up from the monotony of member, group dance, you know, all the stuff that we're used to seeing in K-pop videos. I loved that. When that came on screen, I was like, oh, yes, yes. I also liked it when the bricks were moving with the scratching noise. I liked it when the buildings were moving along with the song. It was very rhythmic and it really, really worked. Probably my favorite part at the end, when that switch up does happen, it turned into a much harder feel. It was black and white. The choreography was very grounded and went with the music. It looked like a 90s rap video, and I'm not mad at that. I love that aesthetic. I thought it was really, really cool. Very effective. and everything went with the song. It was the visuals here weren't jarring. They were cool and there was some unique, interesting stuff. And it went with the song and it made me like the song more. So the music video accomplished everything it needed to. I will say though, the choreography was hit and miss for me. Like at the end, I really liked it. But during some parts of the song, it felt weird to see like really fast K-pop choreography to a rap rock song, right? Like it just doesn't feel as natural for me. It feels like they're hitting 8 fast movements when the beat is a little bit slower. And sometimes it works and it looks great. But other times I just wanted them to be more grounded with that hard rhythm instead of like fast, sharp K-pop dancing. That's just my preference. They executed everything that was given to them really well. But I do tend to think sometimes with K-pop choreography, they need to hear the thing less is more. Like I talked about this when I was on CCTV, Nonstop Pop Show, a couple weeks ago. If you haven't watched it, check it out. But we talked about like Easy La Seraphim. That choreography is almost needlessly difficult and it doesn't go with the music. And the verses, they're just going so fast and intense. And that's like a mid-tempo R&B song. Just groove with the rhythm, And this happens in K-pop more and more, where I don't know if they're just trying to do the hardest choreography. I don't know. I think maybe sometimes they go with the lyrics and not the rhythm. I'm not sure. But in this song, this is such a hard song. I wanted a little more of that really cool, grounded hip hop vibe as opposed to K-pop. There is a distinction. And they did at the end when it went black and white. That's kind of the vibe I think I wanted with the whole song. Again, that's just my preference. I'm not saying it was good or bad, but I made a note of that. Let's talk about the rest of this album. I want to give you my standout songs. They gave us 6 songs. So my album picks Supercalifragilistic and Every Flavor Jelly. Okay, Supercalifragilistic. I thought that beat was very refreshing compared to the first 3 songs. It was kind of the first one that like snapped out of the formula of the project. So it really caught my ear and I thought that was great. It's more rhythmic. It's fun. It's high energy. And I would say I pictured some killer choreography to this one. I think this is a song made for live performance. Every Flavor Jelly, the piano at the beginning reminded me a bit of Pretty Savage from Blackpink. I love that song, so that's definitely a compliment. Nice beat and bass in this one. And I've got to say, like, out of every song on this EP, I think this one is most my vibe. I liked this the best. The rapper's flow feels really natural on this track. And I loved the slower, cool rhythm in the chorus. This one wasn't expected. It was very cool, a little bit different. And that bridge, finally, vocals, vocals, vocals. I need more vocals from Xikers. They can sing, let them sing. I get it. They're rap heavy and they want to show that off and they want to be probably different. There are so many strong 5th gen boy groups. The boy groups that debuted last year crushed the girl groups. I don't care. I'm going to say it. So it's hard to stand out. And I definitely get they've got great rappers in this group. You want to focus on that. But look at a group like Monsta X, who has the best rap line. Sorry. When it comes to rap lines, Jew Honey and I Am from Monsta X, I don't think anybody can touch them. Not only are they talented technically, but, they have a very different style and they complement each other so well. There's just so much. I could go on and on. So I understand the rap thing. But when you look at Monsta X, they also have amazing singers. And they do a really good job balancing it. The rappers get their chance to show off and shine, but the singers are also going to get that chance. With Xikers, I just want a little more balance maybe on the next project because this one felt very, very heavy on rap and the vocalist didn't get a lot of chances to kind of show off. Not the end of the world. But anyways, Every Flavor Jelly, Loved. I thought that was really smart, really well done. It's time for my rankings from Xikers House of Tricky Trial and Error EP. This is from least favorite to favorite. Number 6, Break a Leg. Number 5, Trial and Error Whereabouts, the intro. I thought it was a really nice way to set up what we were about to hear. It set the tone. Number 4 was the title track, We Don't Stop. Number 3, Red Sun. This is a rap heavy group, and this one went extra hard. I liked it. Number 2, Supercalifragilistic. Good song. I loved that song. Beat is so refreshing. But my number 1, let's talk about jelly flavors. Every flavor jelly. My number 1 song from this project. I loved that song. The bridge alone was my favorite on the album. So that's my number 1 pick. Congratulations to Xikers. I think this is an interesting project. I think they executed it really well, and it was very cohesive. I talk about that a lot on the podcast. This was a full project. This sounded like an album, not 6 random different singles. So I really appreciate that. I got a feel for what it was about from that first song, and it kept me engaged, and it kept kind of that cohesive sound story going throughout the album. So kudos to Xikers for that. It's time to talk bias and Wrecker. This is my first time reviewing Xikers on air. I've never publicly picked a bias in Xikers. Okay. My bias in this group, speaking of vocals, it's not going to be surprising probably to most of you. Jinsik, yes, great. Really great voice and very captivating on screen. My Wrecker, this went all over the place for me, but I'm going to say Hunter and Minjae stood out a lot. They both had really nice presence. I think Minjae is a great rapper, really a lot of confidence there and a natural performer. So the records are always subject to change, but I think my bias is probably going to stay the same in this group. I liked this project. I didn't love it. It's not my favorite Xikers project. Just for fans to give you reference of like what I vibe with, Homeboy is my favorite song of theirs. I love that song. I really, really like that song. Songs like that and Run, those are kind of more my vibe. Doesn't mean good or bad. That's just kind of what I gravitate towards. So that's why this wouldn't be my favorite of their 3 projects. But again, I think if you like the vibe and the sound of what they do it really well. So fans have to be happy with this one.